From Houston Texans Training Camp, it's Coors Light Houston Texans Training Camp. Powered by Geico on Pat Booker Road. By Encira. Find out more at Encira.com. And by Muscle Milk. 1250 ESPN San Antonio. Your home for the Houston Texans.
1250 ESPN San Antonio, live at Houston Texans Training Camp with owner Bob McNair. And Mr. McNair, first off, appreciate you having us out here again. It's another year. One of the things that I've always loved about you, one of the first times I interviewed you when you first got the team, you said that you were going to be patient. You have, and it's paying off for you.
Yeah. We got a lot of young guys, and when you're working with these young guys, you got to be patient. It takes them several years. They can't just walk out on the field and start playing that first year. So we're trying to build through the draft, and I think that's working well for us. But you got to recognize that it's going to take you a little time when you do that.
You talk about time. This past season, you guys celebrate your 10th season. And can you reflect on the 10th season? What was the good and the bad of the 10th season?
Well, when everybody was healthy, we were a pretty dominant team. Yes. I mean, it was amazing, really, what we were able to accomplish. And towards the end, we lost some key players on defense. People talk about the offense not being as productive, but in my view, the bigger problem was the defense, and we weren't able to hold the score down for the opposition the way we were earlier in the year. But we got hit at one position, and we had three guys go down at the same position, which is very unusual. But with Cushing out and Dobbins out and Sharpton out, we wound up with the number 4 guy. And then Brooks Reed had a groin pull,
yes, sir.
And so he wasn't able to perform, and McCain was out. And it really it created some vulnerability on our part. And you go up against really good teams and good players like Tom Brady, and they're going to take advantage of that vulnerability, and that's what he did. So that's why you need these young guys who are ready to step in when somebody goes down. And I think we got a good group this year.
Texans owner Bob McNair with us here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio. How frustrating is that? Injuries are a part of the game, but when you get a rash of injuries like you guys had last year, sitting in your position, writing all those checks, how frustrating is that?
Well, it's one of those things where you can't do anything about it. And these things, they sort of tend to average out over time, and I don't expect that we'll have that same kind of situation this year. And to be hit at one position the way we were with so many players injured, that's very unusual. So I don't think we'll see that happen again, and I think we're just going to have to be tougher mentally so that when bad things do happen, we just got to make sure that we don't have a letdown.
Mr. McNair, you talked about earlier about building from within and building through the draft, and 2 draft picks that you guys had here, DeAndre Hopkins and DJ Swearinger. These guys are future superstars in this league, and you had J.J. Watt a couple of years ago. Is there a formula that you guys use, that you guys follow when you guys go through the draft and you guys look at players and young players, the chance of them succeeding? What do you guys look for in those guys?
Well, number one, we look for players who are disciplined.
Yes.
And if they're not disciplined, they can't carry out our game plan under pressure. Mm-hmm. And so we talk a lot about character, but character is a reflection of the level of discipline. So, I mean, really, when we say character, we're talking about discipline. It's the same thing. And so we look for guys that are disciplined, and they'll be good teammates, and they'll be reliable. And we look for guys that have a high motor. And, that's more important to us than maybe the flashiness.
Yes.
And, like a JJ, I mean, he was a high motor guy, and that's what really attracted us to him. I mean, he just puts out total effort on every play as if it's the last play he'll ever have. And that's what we really like.
When you describe what you're looking for, I wasn't sure if I was talking with Bob McNair, owner of the Houston Texans, or Peter Holt of the Spurs, or R.C. Buford, the GM of the Spurs.
Well, I tell you, I have a lot of respect for Peter Holt. He and his organization have done a wonderful job over there, and y'all should be proud of that organization. We certainly are proud of what they've done, and they've done it the right way, and basically we operate the same way. I mean, you look at their roster and the kind of players they've got, and compared to ours, they're similar in nature, and I think that's how you produce winners.
you go through this process of the year, this training camp, you're always going to see one or two players that you're like, wow, this is exciting me, and somebody's going to be a surprise. Which of those one or two players that has really caught your eyes?
Well, we've got a couple of guys that are, college free agents that have really come out. Boye, the cornerback, and Willie Jefferson, and those. When you can come up with some guys like that can make your team that didn't even cost you a draft pick, those are the real bonuses.
Mr. McNair, before we let you go, just a state of the Texans kind of question. You've got the Super Bowl coming. Yesterday we saw those new video boards that look amazing. Talk about where this organization is at off the football field.
Well, it's all about having a complete organization. Everything has got to be operating very efficiently. The business side's got to be efficient to produce the revenue that lets us go out and get the players and have the facilities like we have here and scoreboards for the fans. And so Jamie Roots does a great job for us on the business side. And then, of course, on the personnel side, which is so important, Rick Smith does such a great job there, and he's got a good group of scouts, and they work very well with the coaches. We involve our coaches in the scouting process and in the draft, and some teams don't do that. They don't believe in that. Well, we do believe in it. We think it's important. And so those two groups have got to work together and not clash, and sometimes they clash in other organizations. So, we've got a great group there, and I think our coaching staff, I wouldn't trade our coaching staff with any in the league. I think we've got an outstanding head coach, and I think our assistants are as good as you can get. And I think that's why our young players are being developed the way they are. We've got coaches that are good teachers, and and then fortunately I've got my son Cal, who's now chief operating officer, so I put him to work, and so he has to do a lot of the things that I had to do before, and so we've got a complete organization, and it's functioning very well.
Good deal. Mr. McNair, appreciate the time.
Thank you. Nice to be with you, and we appreciate the support that we get in San Antonio, and we're delighted to have you all over here, and hope you come over and learn more about the Texans.